Hi guys, good afternoon from, well, just me over here at Mugs and Makeup. Today I am here to kind of chat about drugstore deals and drugstore flops. So recently I've been trying to buy more drugstore makeup because honestly at this point it's not really sustainable for me to keep constantly buying all this high-end makeup, and I really want you guys to be able to get these products and try them. So I've been doing a lot of that over the past few months, and in there I have found some absolute gems, some ones that I'm so happy with that have been rotated into my daily routine with no trouble, that I'm really excited about. And I found some things that are not so great, that whether or not they did get rotated into my routine has a lot more to do with necessity than anything else. So I'm going to start with the flops. Then at the end, I'll talk about some awesome drugstore products that I 100% recommend. So without further ado, alright, so my first drugstore flop is an older product. I use this daily because I didn't really want to replace a brand new product. And I was kind of hoping that it was something else, but no, it wasn't. This is the NYX HD Studio Photogenic Concealer. I had the shade Alabaster. So this is, I'm mostly out of it at this point. My biggest issue with this was how thick it was. It pulled across my under eye because that's where I have to conceal the most. So it really pulled across my under eye, which was not at all enjoyable. And just overall was not pleasant to wear. And it didn't cover very well. I used it because I had it and I didn't want to just waste it, but this was not, I don't necessarily recommend this particular concealer. There's a lot of drugstore concealers out there that can do a better job than this. And it also didn't last very long. I think this tube lasted me about 2 months ish, but I was wearing makeup, I'm wearing makeup like 2 to 3 times a week at this point. So that's not saying a lot. This was about $3. This retails at about $3. I believe I got it at Target. Another drugstore flop, one that is currently being rotated into my beauty routine, but that I've managed to minimize the use of, is the Up and Up brand, the Target brand, Beauty Sponge. This is it. It's still damp from this morning when it helped me put my makeup on. It was $3. I couldn't find any single Real Technique sponges, which are these. So I got this to try. At this point, I'm using it only to buff in really small stuff. I use it for my concealer, where it works fine, and I use it to buff in my color corrector, which I'll talk about later. I don't use it for my foundation anymore. I was losing a lot of coverage. It doesn't ever get fully clean, so I think it's absorbing product. So I'm losing a lot of product. I had to use a lot more to get decent coverage on it, and that's not cool. I'll hopefully be getting a better sponge soon. In the meantime, I'm just using this as little as I possibly can get away with. So if you want a good makeup sponge, just go spend the extra $1 on the Real Techniques makeup sponge. It is absolutely fantastic and works 100 times better than this, and you can get them at Target or Walmart. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte Liquid Mousse Foundation. I have the shade Light Ivory. It's almost not fair to call this a drugstore fail because this is the foundation that proved to me that I had dry skin. It stayed on fine and everything, but it was crusty and crunchy and setting all in every line that I have. It was doing funky things right around my nose and in the little lines that are showing up on my forehead, just everywhere, and it did not stay very well. And at the end of the day, that is because this is a shine control foundation and I had dry skin. So this is technically a drugstore flop, but it was a drugstore flop for me. So I would say that if you have dry skin, even normal skin might not be able to use this. I would not. It is $5, so this is actually a really good deal. you know, for what it is, but I don't recommend this if you have dry skin. If you have really oily skin, it might be worth a try. It's inexpensive. It would, you know, it might be that this just isn't a good foundation rather than, you know, just not a good foundation for me. So that's almost unfair, but not entirely. The next thing is my current color correcting palette. It's the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Correcting Palette. This is what it looks like. It was $3. So, you know, you take what you can get. I wanted to try more color correcting than just green. I was using green, it was working okay, but I needed some yellow for my under eye. The yellow actually works fairly well on this. The green is hard to blend. Like this whole thing, they're very thick. They are cream products, but they're a thick cream. They don't blend out very well. I have to use a sponge to blend them out. A brush just doesn't work. I end up with like weird bits of color everywhere. I don't know. It's strange. So these three portions, you know, this bit is not great, but this highlighter is perfect as a base highlighter, like a cream base. I've noticed that it works that it makes your highlight pop a lot more if you take a cream highlight and kind of pat it where you want your highlighter to go, and then kind of buff your powder highlight in. And this is perfect for that. It's not, you know, and honestly, it could probably be a good natural highlight by itself. Like it's a much more subtle glow, and it's a little sparkly, but when it's covered with the powder, it just kind of makes the powder highlight really, really, really pop. So it's kind of a drugstore fail, but kind of not. So this one's kind of in the middle. And then my last drugstore fail is a major fail. This is the Hard Candy brand Top 10 for eyeshadows in Smoke Out. It was $4. This is the palette. It's the purple one. I got it because I wanted this shade. I needed a replacement for this shade. I was going to work my way up to more expensive palettes, but I wanted to try something cheap first because it can't hurt to try, right? My biggest issue with this is that everything's glitter. Oops, yeah, everything's glitter. All the shades. There are no satiny, shimmery, like it's this really weird cross between glitter and satin. So like it looks like it's trying to be satin, but it's honestly just made out of a bunch of really crappy glitter. It's not good. It's very cheap and not in a good way. Like I am all for a good drugstore palette. Like if you can get a nice palette from your, you know, your local Walmart or whatever, like Rimmel makes nice palettes, CoverGirl makes good palettes, and like they're not that expensive. But this is just not good quality. I've had really bad luck with Hard Candy actually. So, but the biggest issue I have with this, other than the fact that it's all just straight glitter, is that aside from one or two of these shades, when you start trying to build a look with them, they get really muddy. Like it's just this mess of dark purpley, gray, black glitter everywhere. And like they play well with other shades. The bright ones with the pigment. I think this one's got good pigment. This one's got good pigment. The white one, the white shade's nice too. But I didn't really have good luck with anything else. None of the darker shades are all very muddy and very murky and just not, they don't work together well. If you get this because you need a specific shade that you want to work with other products, it might work. But I needed more than one shade out of this. And I ended up buying a different palette entirely to, like, I guess, to basically replace this plus some. Avoid these eyeshadow palettes. These are not great. Those are my drugstore flops. Now, I have some awesome products from the drugstore that I'm so excited about. Some of these are great. Like, highly recommend. So we're going to start with those now. What am I going to start with? Yeah. Okay, so I told you about the concealer, the NYX concealer, and I hated it. So I got something to replace it. I got the Maybelline Face Studio Master Conceal. This is in the shade Fair. This is so much nicer. It goes on so much smoother, blends out better. The shade's a smidge darker, which actually works out well for me because if your shade under your eyes is too dark, or too light rather, it just looks like you're trying to brighten up something dark as opposed to cover up something dark. So that's good. And this looks like it's not very much, but honestly, I think it might actually be more than what's in this tube, considering that there's like a stick in here. There's a wand. And a little tiny bit goes a long way. This will put you out $7. And just so you're aware, when I'm saying these solid dollar amounts, I'm rounding up to the nearest dollar. So you could probably get it. It's so like the Rimmel Stay Matte I think was like $4.89 or something when I bought it. But I always round up in these situations. So this is about $7. I got this from Target. And I highly recommend. The coverage is great. It doesn't settle in any of the texture under my eyes, which is a huge deal. The other one, that was another big problem I had, was that it was settled in all of the texture and it was pulling, and then this is just so much easier to manage. I highly recommend it. It's great. Another product is the CoverGirl Peach Punch Blush. This is the shade 130. This is the brighter one. This is super pigmented, you guys. And yeah, this is the blush. It's kind of it's slightly shimmery, but not like, doesn't look quite like a highlighter, or it doesn't look like chunky glitter. It just gives you kind of a subtle glow to your cheeks. So if you decide you don't really want to do highlight on a day, this will help. It smells like peaches. I will say that the peach smell has calmed down since I got it. I've had it a couple of months now, I think, maybe a month or two, and the peach smell's calmed down. It used to be like the minute I opened it, it was just like, whoo, peach in my face. Now it's a lot more, I can smell it while I'm putting it on because it's on the brush and it's close to my nose, and I can smell it when when it's in my face, but it's not as overwhelming as when I first got it. It's very pigmented. Like, I didn't think it was, and the first time I put some on, I ended up looking like someone had slapped me, because my cheek was so pink. If you're really light, get the lighter blush. This is gorgeous. I love it, but I wish I had gotten the lighter one because I'm so light toned. I think it would have worked better and would have been a lot easier to apply. This will put you out $7 as well because it's, fancy and scented and da-da-da-da-da. So some of these ones are a little more expensive than the counterparts that I got, but they're only more expensive by a couple of dollars, and I really think that extra, $2 or $3 is worth the investment. I'm gonna go for the Physicians Formula Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Eyeliner and Serum. It's an eyeliner. It's like an eyeliner felt tip liquid eyeliner pen thing. This is the most expensive item in my drugstore deals section. This is $10. But this is honestly comparable to one that I got from Smashbox, the Limitless Liquid Liner. That's $22, or it was the last time I checked. So if you are trying to kind of downgrade in a way, like kind of find a cheaper alternative, a dupe for one of those liquid liners, one of those like liquid pen tip liners, I highly recommend this. It is waterproof. It goes on smooth. It is so easy to work with. It is very black. I am wearing it today. I will say the stuff that's smudged is not this eyeliner. It is the stuff that I used in my lower inner rim and upper inner rim. Once you like spray it with your whatever, spray you've got, it doesn't move. And you can get really thin lines out of it too. So definitely recommend that. Okay, so this is a very new thing. I'm wearing it today. It is the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth Foundation in shade 110 Porcelain. I had the matte and poreless and I didn't love it. But that's because I had dry skin. It's not a wonder it didn't stay, or, it didn't work very well on me. This is beautiful. It's so smooth. It's probably I would say light to medium coverage. Probably closer to medium today because I buffed it in with a brush, like a kabuki style brush, as opposed to trying to do it with this horrific blender. if you don't like the dewy look, and if you have dry skin and you don't like the dewy look, I use a mattifying powder, but not like a really harsh mattifying powder, like the Coty Airspun actually is what I use, and it mattifies things without drying me out. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite foundations. This was $5 at Walmart, maybe 6. I don't remember. I think it was, yes, it was 6. It was 5 and some change, and I love it. Like, I only just got it a few days ago, and it's fabulous. It's worlds better than what I was using, and it feels so much better on my skin, and it stays better on my skin. So this is a good one. This is definitely worth your money, and this is one of the cheapest items on my drugstore deals list. So at least give it a try. It's cheap enough that you're not going to be out much if you end up hating it. Just be careful, watch your skin tone. If you've got normal skin, if you lean towards being dry, I'd get this one. If you lean towards being oily, get the other one. If you're combination, you could honestly probably mix them, because the shades match up pretty well, I've noticed. This is the same shade I had in the other one. So one of the other things I have is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powders. I have 3. I have Blossom Glow, which is like a light pink. Pop it open. You can see I've made good use of that. I have Precious Petals, which is like a gold champagne kind of color. And I have Lilac to Reality, which is purple. These are absolutely excellent. They're about $5 a piece. I got one in a subscription box. I got this one in one of those boxes you can get from Walmart, the like glow deal things where you get like 10 different things, like a face mask, couple highlighters, whatever. Got this, and then I got this on its own. So these are fantastic. I think I'm wearing one today. No, I'm not wearing one today, but in a lot of my videos I wear these. My last one I was wearing the purple one actually. So if you're curious as to how that performs, check out my last video, my Get Ready With Me. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, and I only have one more thing for you guys today. This is the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink in the shade Dreamer, which is this pink color. It is not as bright as it looks. It looks like it'd be like a bubblegummy pink, but it's very, very, very natural. It takes a while to dry down. It does take a while to dry down, but once it's dry, it stays. It is not moving. I have eaten full meals and drank, coffee and water and whatever else, and I would say 95 to 98% transfer proof. I've eaten full meals and not had to reapply it. It doesn't move. You just have to be patient and wait for it to dry. Like, it takes a good long time for it to dry. It's also very comfortable for a matte lipstick. Like, matte lipsticks tend to get kind of dry and make your lips look funky, especially when they get all dry. So this one doesn't do that. This one actually looks really, really good. It feels good. I have 100% forgotten I was wearing it before. It doesn't like spread. So like when it does start to wear down, it wears very gracefully and very nicely, and it doesn't just go all over my mouth. Like, it doesn't look obvious. It doesn't look like, oh, your lipstick. Ooh. It's like if you forget to reapply or you don't notice something's wrong with it, it's not quite so slap you in the face. I'm really stoked because once the fall comes, they've got a lot of good fall winter shades. So if you're looking for inexpensive lipsticks to make to get yourself ready for fall, I highly recommend this one. Oh, and at Walmart they run about $8, $7 or $8, rounded up, for this, and it's a fairly large tube too. And the applicator's cool. Here, I'll show you. Come on, friend. It is a much more pointed than normal doe foot, and it has a hole in the center that will hold extra product, so you don't have to keep dipping in, and it deposits it really well as well. So that's all I've got for you guys for today. Like this video, give me a good thumbs up. and subscribe to my channel so that you can see all of my new videos as they come out. I will hopefully see you guys again soon.